Hello and welcome to this edition of the Gunshine State, where we talk about firearms, firearms policy, politics, culture, media, all here in the great state of Florida. So please take a moment, like and share the program so that your friends can join in the conversation. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, make sure that you click the notification button. That way you'll be notified every time we go live, and you can participate in the live chat as the program is taking place. Also, want to remind you, we are a membership organization. Florida Carry is a membership organization. We're fighting for you here in the state of Florida. Whether it's at the Capitol or whether it's in court, we're fighting for you. But we can't do it without your support. So do me a favor. Click on the join link in the description of this video, and then that'll take you to a page where you can find all different sorts of options, different levels where you can become a member, and or if you're already a member, you can donate to Florida Carry. It's that simple, folks. If you're not part of the solution, part of the problem, become a member today. One last thing I want to do is I want to remind you we have our annual camping event. All right, this is an opportunity for you to come on out, hang out with folks from Florida Carry. The camping event portion is going to be taking place from Friday, March 19th, 2021 to Sunday, March 21st. Now, there's going to be on the 20th, there's going to be a speakers event that's going to be taking place. All the information will be included in a link, once again, in the description to the video. So please make sure, reserve your spot now. Come on out and hear Second Amendment media folks, advocates, trainers, attorneys from all over the country coming together in the state of Florida to talk about the state of gun rights. Now, one of the folks that we're hoping to have out at the event is the president of the Second Amendment Foundation, Mr. Alan Gottlieb. They are doing groundbreaking work and have been doing groundbreaking work ever since their foundation, fighting for the Second Amendment in the courts, providing education. They host the Gun Rights Policy Conference every year, but providing education to gun owners about what's going on in the courts, about what's going on legislatively, and helping people to understand exactly, one, what our rights are, but secondly, why it's important that we fight for those rights. So with that, I wanted to have on the program Mr. Alan Gottlieb. Alan, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's really good to be with you.
Excellent, excellent. So now, where are you? Where are you currently?
I'm currently in Phoenix, Arizona.
Excellent, excellent. They're on SAF business? Or
yes, sort of, but it's also holiday week, so I'm trying to arrange some time off at the same time.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I wanted to have you on the program because, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now in the country. In my opinion, as I see it, there's a lot of things that are in flex right now. And in no small part of that is the fate of gun rights going into both the near and the distant future. And I just kind of wanted to have you on because, you know, you're one of the leading voices when it comes to the Second Amendment and in terms of someone who knows what's going on in the direction things seem to be heading. So I guess what we could call this would be kind of the state of gun rights in these United States. And I guess I just wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit and see where you thought things were and where they might be headed.
Well, I think we're probably 1 minute closer to midnight with the BidenHarris administration getting ready to take office and their anti-gun rights agenda, which is pretty, atrocious. I think we're in for a big fight on the federal level. And then again, in a number of the blue states, we always have problems anyway. And they're going to be egged on, of course, by the federal government, the new administration. So I think we're going to see a lot of problem areas and a lot of hard work for gun rights groups in the next year.
Wow. Okay. So, what are some of the things that you see specifically that immediately with the Biden-Harris administration that could cause a problem for gun owners?
Well, first of all, I'm worried about some executive orders coming out of the White House that could impact the firearms industry and gun owners when it comes to import-export laws. I'm worried about things like the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms going after braces and lower receivers, and making your own guns at home by regulations. I'm worried about some of that. And I'm also worried about the administration's proposals where they've already talked about, banning so-called assault weapons and high capacity magazines or any magazine that holds over 10 rounds. And some of the proposals where they can't ban them, they're looking at, grandfathering them in to the Gun Control Act of NFA and making them, registered guns with the federal government. We have to pay a $200 excise tax for all your magazines over 10 rounds and all your semi-automatic firearms. So I'm a little concerned with some of those areas like that as well. The other side is they do everything they can, of course, from encouraging the financial industry not to make loans to gun companies, to stopping credit card clearances. It's just the list goes on and on and on. People on Social Security who have other people managing their finances, we're going to see another push to bar them from gun ownership. I'm worried about veterans coming back from overseas, losing their rights as well because out processing have stress problems. I'm looking at anything that they can think of. Believe me, they're going to throw at us in the next year.
That's a whole lot of stuff that can be done via executive order. Now, what do you think the opportunities are? How do you think those, if they were to institute those things via executive order, which of them do you think would be ripe for legal challenge? And what would our chances be on some of those? And what are some of the ones that, quite frankly, we probably wouldn't have a good chance in court in?
Well, I mentioned a lot of things, and not all of those would be done by executive order. I think Biden understands that he can't go out and ban guns by himself by executive order. But when it comes to exporting of the firearms, he could ban imports or exports of guns, gun parts, ammunition. A lot of our ammunition we get in this country now is imported because we have shortages of ammunition. He could cut off supply lines that way. A lot of those things would be tough to challenge by executive order. He's going to be very clever in what he does. The areas of actually banning guns are things that should be done by legislation. I think he's going to try to do by legislation, and those are the ones we'll be probably taking to court.
Okay, so that's all the stuff that we're looking at via executive order. But there's also, because there is a Senate race, there's 2 Senate races, and because there's a race to literally hold on in the Senate, so let's say that the anti-gun candidates, we know who they are, the Democrats primarily. Let's say they win. What are some of the things that we could then see happen legislatively that are being bantered about in Washington?
Yeah, well, our problem, of course, is the Georgia special runoffs for the Senate races in Georgia. And in that case, if the Democrats were to win, it would flip control of the Senate, and that means all the committees would be run by anti-gun Democrats, and what's going to happen is legislation would flow. Now, probably what would happen, though, is it would be originated in the House where Nancy Pelosi still has control, go over to the Senate, then get out of the Senate committees and go to the floor of the Senate. And let's be honest about it. Whatever anti-gun legislation comes out of the House and the Senate, Joe Biden is going to sign into law. And so, really very quickly, if they move fast on it, and then by a stroke of a pen from the president, all things could happen. They could be banning magazines over 10 rounds, banning semi-automatic, firearms, putting all kinds of impediments in the way of gun ownership. So it could happen very, very quickly is what concerns us. And then I'm concerned about, if they can't get a bill passed directly, about them getting it attached as an amendment to some other bill that everybody, wants to pass. And in order to get it passed, gun owners, become the sacrificial lambs, so to speak, and we lose our rights. So I'm really, really concerned as Georgia Senate runoff races are critical to, our building a firewall to protect our gun rights in the next Congress.
Mm-hmm. Now, is SAF doing any communication into the state of Georgia talking about the importance of this particular race and why it's important to be engaged in it?
Well, the Second Amendment Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit foundation. We can't get directly engaged in politics. I'm involved with a number of political action committees that are. We've targeted 191,000 plus gun owners in Georgia that we're communicating with very heavily to try and make sure that our people turn out to vote. It's a critical election. I know other gun rights groups are doing that as well. And so hopefully if our base turns out, we could be okay. It's going to be a razor-thin win or loss one way or the other in Georgia.
Exactly. Kind of shifting notes a little bit. Now, the Florida Carry is going to be holding their our annual camping event. It's going to be the weekend of March 19th through the 21st. We're going to have speakers coming from all over the country. I understand you're working on trying to be there as well. What do you see in terms of how important is it for people to be involved, not just in national organizations, but in local and state organizations fighting for the Second Amendment? Groups like Florida Carry.
Extremely important. Florida Carry are the boots on the ground, the local group that is there to testify at those legislatures, city council meetings. Florida Carry is a very great, well organized state rights group. One of the better ones that we have anywhere in the country. It's probably one of the reasons why Florida has as many good gun laws as they do right now. In all honesty, Florida Carry has done tremendous work carrying a load in Florida. I would encourage every gun owner in the state of Florida to get engaged and join Florida Carry.
Well, I would happen to agree with you on that. It's vitally important, and I've always said that it's important to not just be involved in the organizations that are doing the heavy lifting on the national level, like the Second Amendment Foundation. But it is also important to be there with the local groups, because it's a lot of times it's the local. In particular, what the anti-gun community has realized is stuff they can't get passed in Washington, D.C. They're starting to go to state legislatures, and they're even going to counties and cities, things like zoning ordinances and special use permits, and all of these things they're trying to do to box in the Second Amendment. And really, I think they're realizing that they can't totally ban guns, but they're nibbling away at the edges, making it almost impossible to comply with gun laws, and also making it very, very expensive to comply with gun laws.
Yeah, the other problem we have as well is that the other side is very well financed by a handful of billionaires that throw $1 million checks to the anti-gun rights groups. We can't match their money. None of our national groups can match the money. The only way we can win is with grassroots support and the boots on the ground at the local level. That's why the local groups are doubly important right now.
Exactly. So do us a favor. Let the folks know just a little, give them a little bit more information about who SAF is, how they can follow the work at SAF, and how they can contribute to the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Well, the Second Amendment Foundation was founded in 1974. We have about 650,000 members and supporters nationwide. What we're most known for, of course, is our legal work in the courts, particularly the McDonald versus Chicago suit that the Supreme Court used to incorporate the Second Amendment through the 14th Amendment, making it applicable to all the states. About 80% of the case law that's been won in the courts supporting Second Amendment rights have been Second Amendment Foundation cases filed by us and or our attorneys. So the legal work is really important. Some of our newer work that we're getting involved in, we have a program we're calling right now Second Amendment First Responders, getting more people involved, particularly the new gun owners. We have about 6 million new gun owners in the last year alone in the United States, trying to get them engaged and involved in protecting gun rights. We just came off a national advertising campaign. We ran, pro-gun ads on Fox News, Fox Business, CNN, MSNBC, even the Weather Channel, the History Channel, the Military Channel, a bunch of other cable networks. And we have a new series of spots because of BidenHarris. They trying to alert people to the threats to gun rights. So we're running another national ad campaign on TV starting in January. And so those are some of the activities we're involved in. Most of the things can be found on our website at SAF.org, where people can also join and donate. Our membership is really reasonable. It's only $15 a year to join, and get your newsletters and action alerts and information about what's going on gun rights from us. So we welcome anybody to get engaged with us. You'll also find work where we get engaged in a lot of our lawsuits. We partner with local gun rights groups. We've partnered with Florida Carry before in Florida. So it's a good way to work and combine the efforts of everybody. So again, it's saf.org.
Excellent. Alan, thank you so much. We very much appreciate you. Appreciate the work that you're doing. Keep it up. And hopefully we'll get a chance to see you out in Florida there in March for the camping event.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for all your hard work.
All right. Everybody, Mr. Alan Gottlieb, Second Amendment Foundation. All right, well, hey, that's going to be it for this edition of the Gunshine State. We very much appreciate you liking and sharing the program. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you telling your friends about Florida Carry, Florida's premier Second Amendment civil rights advocacy group.